Before we get into anything, I just want to know about how you started, a New York-based comedian, and how was your first start, your first open mic that you did? Do you remember?
Yo, I remember. Yeah, my first well, I started in comedy back in Iowa where I grew up, which is like the middle of nowhere in America. And I did like comedy sketch shows and plays. But the first time I ever did stand up, I was in college in Chicago at a restaurant called The World of Beer, and no one was there for stand up. We're like in the back of a bar. It's like people all hanging out. Nobody's listening to me. And I wore a dress because I thought you're supposed to dress up if you go on stage. And I had like three longhand pages of notes or like a script that I was going to follow. And it was so bad. I think I still have the script somewhere too.
But
But but my open mic, my first open mic was like when I moved to New York City. It was all dudes in this tiny, sweaty room. And I went and I decided to talk about visiting my brother in prison and what that was like. And I'll never forget this like older dude who his set, no shade, was horrible. It was the worst. He comes up after me, he goes, "Hey, you might have something here. You might have something for a girl. You might have something. You're pretty funny for a chick." And I was like, yes, I'm in. I made it, buddy. I'm gonna make it in this big bad city.
considering the fact that you got such a compliment in a very, shady kind of room full of dudes, well, that was actually a huge compliment.
I will take it. Yeah, we'll definitely take it. I don't know if he's someone I want to look up to necessarily, but I will. At the time, I was really thrilled to have someone say something nice about my comedy because I was so new. You know what I mean?
And you did sketch comedy before that, like sketch shows before open mics. So when
Yeah.
did you get your first laugh? Was it on a sketch comedy or just go back in
Uh,
time and just remember everything about that moment?
it's like drugs. Getting your first laugh is like doing drugs for the first time. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I actually, this is a weird answer, but I'm going to say it because it's true. The first time I remember getting a laugh, I was actually 11 years old and I was in the musical Annie. And do you know the musical Annie at all?
I know that. I know
Okay.
that.
Yes. So I was not Annie. I was Drake the butler. I played a man named Drake the butler. And I came out on stage, and the main character forgot all of his lines. And so I had to improvise, and I just came out on stage. He kept the guy kept going, "Drake, we need more champagne. We need more champagne," because he was like, bombing. So I come out, I'm 11. I have two trays of champagne, one in each hand, and I go, "More champagne." And when I tell and when I tell you that community theater rural Iowa crowd lost their minds because it was funny, but it was also true and in the moment. And I think I learned such a lesson that, like, if you make fun of what's actually happening with the audience, not the fake world of Annie, but like what's really happening in the room right now, the people who are there, people are going to laugh. And like, that's what stand up is. That's why people love crowd work. That's why I do clown comedy. It's like, this isn't something I wrote before. This is happening today.
So you broke the first, yeah, you broke the fourth wall at the age of 11, basically.
I did. I did. And I really did. I had a slick back hair and I was wearing a tuxedo.
So how did you go from sketch comedy to stand-up comedy? Because it's very different, playing characters and then playing yourself as a character, two different things.
Totally different things. And I think for the longest time, because I was doing sketch comedy, I was like, oh, I'm not a stand-up. I don't do stand-up. I was too kind of scared. I preferred playing characters instead of myself. But why I really just started doing it was because I wanted to get better at writing. I wanted to get better at writing scripts like TV pilots. I wanted to get better at writing sketches. And the best way to get better at writing is to write jokes and go do them at open mics. Do you know what I mean? So even if my I didn't start out saying, I want to be a stand-up comedian. I didn't. I want to be a sketch comedian. I want to be on SNL. But doing stand-up and writing jokes consistently was like what I had to do to get there. And it was a bumpy road because I started doing stand-up only act outs. I would come on stage and I would say, here's, a woman who works at my local TSA airport. And then I would do that character like a sketch comedian would. And it wasn't until I did more that I was like, I need to actually write punchlines and like be myself.
But that must have been a like huge transition because when you're playing another character, you are somehow more confident because you're not yourself.
Yes.
But since you have been writing always and you have been on stage since you were 11, or I don't know even if you had been before that, so how was the stage comfort for you as a stand-up artist?
Yeah. I think as a stand-up, it was stage presence was the easiest thing. That came really naturally to me. Being on stage, talking into the microphone, grabbing attention, all of that, that was easy. It was actually the material and the structure that was a little more foreign because, don't tell anyone, but I didn't grow up watching a ton of stand-up comedy. That like wasn't really the comedy I was watching. I was watching Carol Burnett. I was watching sketch shows. I loved Whose Line Is It Anyway? I loved funny movies and musicals. So my inspiration wasn't stand-ups. And so it was hard for me coming into the stand-up world because I still felt like a foreigner. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. And I think that's why I read somewhere that you have written that noises off is one of your inspirations.
Yes, I can't believe you know that. I love Noises Off. I love anything farcical and like physical comedy. I love like people falling down will always be funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's always
so
funny. Like it's always funny. So yeah, I love Noises Off. I think it's brilliant and it's one of my big inspirations is like that kind of farcical tongue-in-cheek slapstick old school comedy, which is sometimes weird going into stand up because I don't really do a lot of like, my pussy jokes. Like I don't do sex stuff. Like I talk a little bit, I feel like a little bit more old school with it.
and that's great. And I have seen that nowadays physical comedy is pretty much dying. People are very
Yeah,
afraid to look stupid.
I think some people definitely are, and like mainstream stand up, there isn't physical comedy because that's not what's expected. Like when people do that, they're labeled as an alt comic, which like I totally am. Like I try to do some physical stuff. Like I have a set on Friday and I do an act out where I like pretend to rip off my shirt and like do a really big physical thing. And it'll do well in the room and audience members will like it, but sometimes I think stand-ups, like really purist stand-ups, they don't like it. They're like, I don't like that you did an act out. Like they just want their art form pure joke, joke, joke. And that's why sometimes I feel a little bit like I don't fit in or feel a little more alt and clowny. And it's why I like the Edinburgh Fringe Festival so much because very few people are doing just stand-up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, using the stage. They are using the stage there. And like I know that old school comedy has its charm, but I think that physical comedy is more risky because you have to look funny, not like look stupid.
Yes. Yes, I know what you mean. I think we have an epidemic in the comedy scene, especially in New York, of everybody wanting to look cool all the time. And as someone who's taken clown class, I actually always want to look stupid. I think like I strive to be the thing on stage that you are here in the audience to laugh at. Like laugh at me. I am funny. I am stupid. I am dumb. Like that's very classic clown. And so it's hard sometimes because I do the different genres. Like it's hard to go and stand up where like I'm on stage and I want you to think I'm witty and smart and pre-planned. Whereas when I go on stage as a clown, I want it all to feel unplanned in the moment and just stupid. I'm falling down stupid. So it's a different part of your brain.
And I think I saw your Instagram also, and it's not a typical stand-up page. It's full of
No.
sketches, basically. I would say it's not even like sketches for social media.
Yeah.
So do you like to like keep on experimenting with yourself? Like what more you could do, what more could you could explore? Do you like doing experiments?
Yeah, I'm a freaking scientist over here doing experiments all the time because it's really just like throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks because I would try to post more stand-up clips online, but for me they just don't do as well. And I'm trying to grow a following, and so the characters and the sketches to me are they're easier for me. I find more joy in them. They're more fun and they do better like views wise anyway, they're doing better for me. So yeah, I actually think you're asking a question that is like potentially my core problem, which is, Liz, you got to pick a lane, girl. Like I want to get more of a following as a comedian because it opens more doors. People see you more, brand deals, you can make more money. But like to do that, I feel like I have to become a content creator, which is less time on stage. Like you kind of have to wear every single hat and you just go with whatever's doing well. You know what I mean?
Maybe you'll have to limit your creativity also.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, yeah, sometimes I'll work really hard on a video and I'm like, this is so funny. It's so smart. It's edited well. And it does like 200 views. And then I'll do a video that's like, LOL, me on the toilet. And it's like 2 million views. And it's stupid, but you just can't get frustrated. You can't get down. I got really good advice once that social media people are there to eat potato chips. And when they like your potato chips enough, then they'll come see you in person for their steak dinner. But you have to give them potato chips first. And I thought that was good advice.
Uh, but see, I'm so sorry to like being a little off script here. But what I
Oh,
have observed in social media that if I love something, I'll post that. And all the people who resonate with my thoughts, even though it's like scattered everywhere, even though if
yeah,
people would resonate with my thoughts, they'll come and they'll stay.
that's
And I
good. That's
also
good
won't have
advice.
to lose my originality because I think that if you do something for the audience, then after a while you're not yourself. You
Yeah.
would run out of content.
Yeah. No, I think I'm doing most of it for myself. And I agree. That's honestly good advice. And if I ever feel like I don't know what to post today, a good thing to remind just like, well, what do you think is funny? Like what makes you laugh? What's something, especially when it's niche. Like I posted this thing that was so niche to this like one musical movie that I loved as a kid. And I was like, no one's gonna know what this is. It did crazy numbers. So yeah, you just have to like go with your what you like.
So what's your favorite musical apart from Noises Off?
My favorite musical of all time is Rent the musical. Have you seen it? It's the AIDS one. It's not funny at all. You've not seen it?
No, my favorite is Les Miserables, and I have just seen it
Oh,
like multiple times. So I'm more
yeah.
into what tragedy.
I love that. Yeah, that's not funny at all. I love Les Mis. I was in Les Mis when I was in high school. I was Madame Thénardier, the Helena Bonham Carter character. Yeah. So she's the funny one. And I remember being like, I don't know how old I was, like 15, and I wanted to be Eponine. I wanted to be like the main girl character. And then when I got cast as Madame Thénardier, I'm like, what the fuck? I don't want to be the ugly, funny one. I want to be the hot, sad one. And then now I'm like, Madame Thénardier is the best character. Like if I got to play that on Broadway, oh my God, dreams. I used to date a guy who was in the national tour of Les Mis, and it's awesome. I love that musical so much.
So it's like, and also you have called yourself the American clown. So tell me more about the clown school and what did you learn about from being stupid? Because you playing this character in them is,
Yeah,
and
she was clowny.
he was clown.
Yeah, I love that. Liz, tell us about being stupid. Where did you learn how to be such an idiot? Let's
Yeah.
yeah, I love clown stuff. I still don't feel like a clown expert. Like I haven't gone to France to study with the people yet, but everything I've learned about clown, I love. It's just like it's really a mindfulness art. Like this is happening right now. My only job is to walk on this stage, look at you in the eye, look at my surroundings and like interact with them. And that stresses stand-ups the fuck out because you can't pre-plan. But for me, it's like, oh, what's gonna happen? Because I love improv. That's like my main background is improv comedy. So for me, clown has been much more like childlike almost. Like people have told me, they're like, Liz, you have a very like not childish. Like it's not like I'm seem like a little kid, but like you have kind of a childlike, like, ooh, like, well, that could be good and messy over here. Or like, what if I put on a mustache and rolled around? Like this kind of little kid spirit. I think that is really at the heart of the clown. And a quote that I really love, I actually have it up on my computer right behind your video here, is genius is nothing more nor less than childhood recovered at will.
Childhood recovered as well.
At will.
Nice.
So if you can recover your childhood and that way of thinking, which is like, let's go in the backyard, we're all going to play space astronauts, but I'm Helen Keller and you have to wear a mask. Like, I don't know, like I'm just making shit up. Like you just have to, you're just playing. And like when you're a little, if you're playing with a little kid and they're like, oh no, it's a hot bowl of lava, you're not going to say, no, it's not. You're going to be like, oh, we have to drink the lava before the aliens come, you know?
Man, I just realized, like watching you act this out, that watching someone act out a bit or anything, even if someone acts out some random lines, you're not just laughing, you're like taking it all in, and there are so many emotions going in. Like I was stuck to my screen and I was like all in that moment. So I
Yeah.
think this is a little bit better than laughter because you're able to gather more and more emotions.
Yeah, that's cool. I love that. I mean, that's what really, I know we're not talking that much about Lizzie Sunshine, my show, but that's the whole idea is that if you can get people really laughing, like you hit them with some really good jokes in the beginning where it's just like laugh, 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 then I think they'll ride the wave with you a little bit more with stories and other emotions. And when people are sitting and they're set to laugh, their hearts are open so then you can actually make them feel more like they didn't expect to be sad but then they'll feel it kind of a little bit against their will. You know what I mean?
I get it. And I was watching this interview by Louis C.K. and he said that if you, as an artist, ignite an emotion that is other than laughter, then it's a very new emotion in that room and you can take it anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I think that is what you are going to do with your show, Lizzy Sunshine. So now just let's talk about that a little bit. But before that, this is not your first year at Fringe, right?
This is my first full time at Fringe. Last year I went kind of for a week and I just scoped it out and I did a short run of my show. So it's not my very first time, but it's my first time doing the whole thing.
So how was last year at Fringe? How was the response and how long did you do last year?
Last year I did 10 shows and the response was it exceeded my expectations. I mean, I was only there for the very first week. So I was really starting to build audiences. We sold out the last two shows and then I was done, which was frustrating. But I think I got three or four five-star reviews. And a theater in London saw my show and invited me to come do it at their theater in London. So I would say a 10 show run was a smash last summer. And it just gave me the confidence, man. Like, this shit is hard. Like, deciding, like, hey, I'm going to do this thing and you guys should all watch is like, it's a big leap of faith and you got to be kind of brave. And so last year gave me a lot of courage to be this year, do the whole thing and like really pull out all the stops, you know?
So did you do an hour last year also, or is it just this? Okay, you
It
did
was
an
an hour.
hour, but
Yeah,
that
I
time
did
the
my
show must have been pretty new, right?
Yeah, it was. It was pretty new in that iteration. And honestly, it's gotten so much better. I mean, it turns out if you do something over and over again, you get better at it, which like who would have guessed, you know? But yes, it's gotten a lot better. And this summer, I've had a few people be like, "Oh, you're doing it again?" And I'm like, yeah, because last year I only did a week. And this year, like, if that's the response I got in a week, I'm just really praying that this year I do it for a month and some producer from Dropout sees it and they're like, let's do this as a special. Or some, manager or someone sees it and they're like, hey, you know what? We like you, weird girl. So I want to, and I literally raised $14,000 to do this year.
Oh my God.
So
So,
we have some.
are we going to see some extravagant sets also on in this, or
You know what? No. You're going to see a set, but it's not extravagant because the point of the show, I don't know how much I've told you or about Lizzie Sunshine, but the point of the show is that she, through the character's eyes, sees the world as Broadway, amazing, big budgets, everything's fancy. But in reality, she looks like a 15-year-old kid in a church basement wearing a crappy outfit. Do you know what I mean?
yeah?
So there are sets and there is stuff that happens. There's a lot of tech, like there's a lot of lights and stuff like that, but there's not a ton of like big prop pieces. All of that money went to marketing and like honestly just flights and housing because it's so expensive to be at the Fringe
Okay,
for so
okay.
long.
So just give us a brief about what the show has. Not what is about, but like what elements does it have? Does it have a lot of improv, a lot of crowd work?
Yes. So this show has stand up, improv, musical theater, crowd work. It has clown. It has full scripted dramatic monologue. It has like farcical monologue. It has dance. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. It has every form of comedy and or performance besides juggling. I can't juggle. It has everything on stage. I do a magic trick. Like the point is with this character is she's gonna throw everything she has at the audience. Look at everything I can do, and then what's left, right? But yeah, it does have a little bit of stand up. I do some impressions. They're bad. They're bad impressions. That's the joke, is that she's bad at impressions. Um, what else? Yeah, that's it. A lot of crowd work. I bring an audience member on stage. There's audience participation.
I had a conversation with Chloe actually yesterday, and I asked her the same question that when you are going to have an audience interaction, like especially when you are bringing an audience member on stage, it is a huge pressure to make that funny.
Yes. And the good thing is, it's always funny. If you let it shine, like you have to trust and like let it breathe. And the secret to this, I believe the secret to audience participation and audience interaction, the audience needs to look like a genius. If you can make the audience the star and like everything they say is really brilliant and you're the dumb one and they're the smart one, the rest of the audience will like it. Because the audience participation, it creates tension in the room. Like, oh shit, like that could have been me. Like, what's going to happen? I don't want to do that. Like, people hate it. People hate audience participation. So, the last thing you want to do is be like, yeah, look how dumb this guy is. Like, you don't want to make them more uncomfortable. You want to make them brilliant. So in Lizzie Sunshine, every time an audience member comes to play, the audience has to cheer their name, right? So it'd be like, Keyshawn, 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 like getting them up on stage. And then if you participate, you get a lollipop after, like you become the star of the show. And to me, and I think that's a key to Lizzie Sunshine. That's why the audience participation never bombs. It's always funny because I set them up for success.
That's brilliant again. And you have musical also in this. You have
I do.
musical, you have so many elements. So like you're going to like, and it's all in 1 hour. So you're going to keep switching between so many different moods.
Yeah, you do switch. I would say the mood stays, it's definitely chaotic. The mood stays positive and up, and everything's intertwined. So it's not like now I'm singing, now I'm dancing, now I'm doing stand up. It's like more weaved within the story. So when I'm doing the musical thing, it's like a throwaway bit where maybe we're all going to sing this really quick. Or later in the show before the big shift, because there's really only one big shift where the energy and the mood switches to truth and sadness or whatever, a different feeling. And there's a big musical dance number that happens right before that. So that's the big dance, I would say. And dance, I mean, I'm not an amazing dancer. So I can do the splits though. But yeah.
And I also read that you are doing this, a part of the bit is with your brother also.
Yes, so my brother is he doesn't actually do the show. The whole premise is that he's supposed to do the show, but he doesn't come. So the comedy, that's like the premise. So that's why it's kind of like Noises Off where the show goes wrong. This show is written for two people, me and my brother. And then my brother calls me right before it starts and is like, "Hey, I just got into a fender bender. I'm running late. You have to start without me." And I'm like, "Oh, no problem." So I come out to the stage. I say, "Hey, everybody, there's been a bit of an incident. Thanks for coming. But we have to get started without him. He's going to be here in about 5 minutes. So just bear with me." But then the show starts and then he keeps not coming. And then at the end, I get the phone call of why he's not coming. And the whole facade unravels. And the metaphor of this is that you can be the funniest, brightest, hilarious, most positive person, but there's always some shit going on. There's always the Les Miserables underneath the funny musicals, you know? So that's why at the end it's revealed that Lizzie Sunshine, the person, is a metaphor for what it's like to like love someone with addiction. You have to keep the show going. You have to stay hopeful, stay positive, because my brother has suffered from addiction for years. And the story of that is very long and detailed, but I don't get into that at all. Lizzie Sunshine's about me and kind of this childlike facade. And it's funny. I promise it's not depressing.
A comedy of errors, basically, but full of positivity.
Yes. Okay, write that down. That's a good description. I need that.
Yeah. No, the first thing I'll be putting would be you counting how many elements you have in the show.
So many elements.
So how did you feel making this entire show up? Like it's like basically I can see your excitement when you talk about the show, and I can see you're not just excited. You have that childlike happiness when you describe that show.
Oh, thanks.
How was the process of writing the show? How did it come to you? And the like playing plays like a 15-year-old girl is thinking, so it's like one play is going and then is a the dream sequence, or I don't know, I'm just guessing here. So how
Yeah.
did you writing? How was the process?
The process, I would say, was like violent. Like it happened so quickly. It was January of 2024. I saw somebody else's solo show. I really hadn't seen very many besides like a video of Fleabag once. And I was like, huh, what would I do with my show? I started writing it down on the notebook and then it just like started dumping into me. I was like, okay, it needs to be high low, where she thinks she's famous, but she's literally just singing a song for her family at the dinner table. She's, yada yada. And I just wrote all of these ideas down, and it boiled down to why am I doing all of this and he's not even here? I'm alone. I am alone. I am alone. And it's funny that I'm alone. And it's incredible, this like skill I've created to be funny and delightful and protect myself. But what happens when I took the mask off? So the process was violent in that, like, so much self-discovery. Like, I am a positive person. I am always smiling. I don't even listen to sad music like that. So for me to like, rip off the kind of shiny mask of myself and be like, this is my actual truth. I didn't ever tell people that my brother was an addict. Nobody knew that. I didn't, even as a kid, because he's been suffering since I was like 8 years old. So this is a long earned thing of like shiny positivity. Lizzie Sunshine is what my mom called me. That was my nickname for because I made everybody laugh, right? So the style of this clown, it came out of me just by kind of journaling and writing down my truth. And then I had this crazy big moment. I've actually never said this on a podcast, but it is true, and I will tell you. I had this crazy big moment at this like meditation. It was like a guided retreat thing. It was super woo-woo, but it was really cool. You like wear a mask and you go within. It's this like guided trip, basically. And I was doing it and I whatever, I was having the experience and then I left to go to the bathroom. and I was in the like girls' bathroom dressing room, and I was like, I felt like a little kid. I was like, I don't want to go back in there. It feels like church in there. I'm gonna stay in here and I'm gonna play by myself. I don't want to go back to church. And so I was playing, and I found like a coat rack, and I was putting on the coats of the different people, and I was like, ooh, and I looked in the mirror and I said, who let her out? Oh, who let her out? And then this is the true artistic thing. I started writing all of it down. I didn't have a notebook, so I grabbed a bunch of paper towels. I still have the paper towels, and I wrote all of the ideas on them. And then I just started weeping. And I was like, I'm so sad. Where's my brother? Why can't I play with him? Why am I tripping at this freaking guided thing in Brooklyn and I'm playing dress up by myself? He's the funny one. Why is he left me? And I had this like childlike rage of like, he's supposed to be my big brother. And I called him on the phone at 3 in the morning. This is true. And he's still alive. He's okay. And I told him, I was like, you can't die. You're my big brother. I'm the little sister. And he's doing better now and he's well and everything. But those are some of the earliest bits of Lizzie Sunshine, was kind of unearthing this clown, this who let her out? Like, why does she exist? And where did she come from? And it was like violent. It was like diarrhea. You know when you like have to diarrhea, or you have to run to the bathroom and diarrhea? Lizzie Sunshine was diarrhea.
So this show about optimism didn't come from optimism at all.
I mean, it did come from optimism, yeah, but it came more from the truth behind the optimism for sure. But something I'm proud of is I am genuinely an optimistic person. I think there's positivity and there's toxic positivity. Toxic positivity is denying anything bad is happening. And I've had my fair share of doing that. I'm guilty of that. But true earned positivity is that shit sucks, but I'm gonna hope for the best anyway. I'm going to keep going. I'm still going to be funny because it's fun to be funny. And I think that was a big shift in Lizzie Sunshine. If you asked me if I had to write like a college essay on it, I would say the the show is toxic positivity, and then after we reveal the truth of what's going on with her, the end is hopeful, true, earned positivity. Because I'm not just like, I give up, I don't want to, I quit. It's like, this sucks, and now we're in it together. Because the show ends with the audience singing to me. I don't know if I told you that already. So the audience, Lizzie Sunshine gives the audience so much of her positivity and so much of her hope and all this stuff and all of the things I counted, and throws it at them. And then at the end, she's left naked, bare. She told the truth. She's so sorry. It's all a facade. Her brother's not coming. He's an addict. And she's sitting there and she quit. She says, the show's over. The lights come on. I'm all done. And throughout the show, I have laid enough little Easter eggs that the audience knows that they need to start singing The Sun'll Come Out Tomorrow from Annie. And then they sing and they give Lizzie Sunshine their hope. And then the show ends with positivity and hopefulness that is not toxic.
I think it's a gift from you to yourself more than the audience. I'm sorry, I have to put it that way because you got your first laugh, which you're very proud of when you did Annie, and your show Lizzie Sunshine ends with Annie. And not only this, I noticed something else that you're pulling off a mask off in this show. And when you did that same in a comedy club, a comedian had a problem that you're not funny. When you started tearing up the cloths, and a comedian said that this is not traditionally funny. But now you're tearing off your mask at Edinburgh Fringe this year.
Yeah.
See that
And it's
that's a
funny.
complete
Yeah.
journey. That's a complete
That's
journey.
cool. Wow. You're so like you are so insightful. You really pieced that together right away.
Yeah, and before we go, I have to ask you, since you said that you love comedy movies, which were your favorite movies and the ones that you watch and watch again? That's it.
Oh my gosh, of course. Let's see. Old kind of classic comedy. I love the Noises Off movie, of course. Musical comedy, I love Singing in the Rain. It's such a
Ah,
good musical, but it's also funny, right? Love
yeah.
Singing in the Rain. Okay, you're not going to know this one, but I always say it's a teen coming of age movie. It was British. It was called Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging. And
Okay.
it's to me, it's so funny. It's like for girls. It's kind of like a chick flicky, thing for girls. All of my favorite comedies are like kind of coming of age girly. Like I love a rom-com. Like She's the Man. Forget about it. Do you know She's the Man with Amanda
Yeah, okay.
Bynes?
Yeah.
That is cinematic masterpiece. Do you know what I mean? Like that shit. I love Amanda Bynes. She's one of my big influences too. And I hate that she's had such horrible struggles with addiction. And like, I hope, I wish that she was better. But someone told me once, they're like, you are if Amanda Bynes kept doing comedy.
Oh man, that's beautiful. Like she's the man. I don't think that movie gets as much as appreciation because it has been remade so many times in so many different languages.
Of
Like
course.
I love movies. Like I love Seth Rogen when it comes to movies. Like I love good nonsensical movies. I don't want comedy movies to go anywhere. I just want
No.
trash comedy.
Yeah. You just want it to be funny and dumb, you know? What's your
So
favorite?
well, I'll be going a little way back, but I'll say that Charlie Chaplin's Modern Times is my favorite. And then
Brilliant.
Buster Keaton, photographer. I don't remember the name, photographer or cameraman, but it was a Buster Keaton movie where he jumps across a woman in a suitcase. I
Yeah.
love physical comedy a lot.
Yeah, me too. Wait, and I love that you mentioned Buster Keaton. I don't do it anymore, but my old version of Lizzie Sunshine, at the end when everything's falling apart, I have a graphic on the screen where the facade of Buster Keaton's house falls down on me.
Oh, thank God you're not doing it anymore. It's very risky.
Yeah, that's why I didn't do it because it's also too expensive and yeah, but it was when I did it back, I used a video to do it and it was cool back in the day.
Yeah. I would just like to you to like say one line to everyone who's coming to see you at the Fringe.
Um, One line to everyone coming and seeing me at the Fringe. Oh, thank God you're here. Keep coming back. Come give me a hug. Follow me for the love of God. I need it. I need all the help I can get. It's hard out here, but I love it and thank you.